Meal isn't.
I've eaten no food today.
Good.
0 calories.
This will end up...
What are you getting for lunch?
I've got
That's my cheat day
got
today.
All my food in my
Fucking yes.
Every day's your cheat day, mate.
Outlook. Fuck you.
You're the worst starter I've ever said.
This is a medium.
Doesn't make any sense.
Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast. My name is Chris Bratt and today I am joined by Mr. Simon Miller.
Hello, welcome to the Video Gamer podcast.
Like it. You try and get
Magic
your host
FM.
voice.
Your little audition over there going on. The replacement is coming.
Damn it. That was better than me. Should we start this again?
No, keep going. I've won today.
Mr. Steve Burns
Yeah.
and Mr. David Scammell.
I'm really excited for your little holiday, Chris. Not because you're going to be out of the office for 2 weeks, but because of all the possibilities that may happen on this holiday.
All the
It's gonna be
stories
amazing.
we get when you return.
Immediately we went for the holiday.
So you're off to Magaluf, right?
I'm not off to Magaluf.
The best bit is Chris doesn't know where he's going.
I'm off to
Which airport are you going to?
Manchester.
Manchester.
Yeah.
Why?
Because my friends live in Stoke.
So why can't you fly on a separate flight and meet them there?
Because that's antisocial.
Are you
and
flying
this is a
back?
lads' banter holiday. We don't fly alone. Oh, God. That was,
Lads band. He said that as well, like we should be impressed.
Okay, that was an ironic use of the lads'
No.
banter.
Are you going to get up to this sort of banter, which I heard once from someone about a guy he used to live with,
Right.
whose brother? All right, it's getting a bit out of hand.
This
now,
is clearly Steve. This is clearly
I've met the
Steve.
guy in question, not the brother. The other
You
guy.
are the guy in question.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I wish I was. Apparently, this guy's brother got very drunk before flying out on a lads' holiday with the lads, and they were all a bit boisterous, wearing England football shirts and being those
Bit
guys.
Larry.
Yeah. And during the takeoff procedure, this guy really needed to go to the toilet and was frustrated and drunk and angry and belligerent that he wasn't allowed to because, they were flying into the sky in a metal tube.
Yep.
So he just stood up and went, "What about this?" and just pissed himself.
Oh,
This sounds just like you, Burns.
Yeah.
That is-
Sorry.
that is brave.
I'm going to move on from that story. That is disgusting.
So that is
disgusting.
I don't know what
It's
he
a
was
mid-air airplane pisser.
I don't
It's
know what he was
amazing.
trying to prove. I mean, that's going to be uncomfortable for him.
Yeah, for the rest of the flight as well.
But that's going to be you.
Is that the
Braz.
level I've got to match?
Braz.
Please don't match it.
What games have you been playing? That is absolutely. This is the worst story I've ever heard. That is disgusting.
I've been playing one game in particular this week.
Piss your pants on holiday?
Not that
2?
one. No, it's Total
should make
War
that.
Rome 2, which is not
segue.
similar at all.
Total piss.
Yep, nice. That would have been closer. Yeah, it's.
Harsh words.
I live streamed it for a couple of hours last night, and it's an incredibly fun game. The Total War games are always a spectacle to play, just because the sheer scale of the armies you control and the fact that you can zoom in and look at each individual soldier, and then you zoom back out, and there's about 1,000 of them, and there's a wonderful kind of just feeling that you are controlling this huge army that not that many strategy games can match. However, the more I play it, the more I kind of think they've been making Total War games for about 10 years now, I think. Oh no, and longer than that, actually. They've been doing it since 2000. And it doesn't feel like they've come that far. Obviously, the games are much more powerful now. But there's still a few of the... I mentioned this in the review I did. There's still a few of the same kind of complaints that I've had since like since first Shogun. The AI is still a little bit crap and relies on some excellent modder coming out and fixing it for them.
Yeah.
But they know that, though.
I know, and they do. And it doesn't affect the sales, clearly, because they've pre-ordered... They had more pre-orders than ever before. 6 times more than Shogun 2 or something crazy.
There's nothing I don't know. There's nothing they can do about it. As I said before,
Well, it can make it better.
I tested Empire Total War,
Yeah.
and I read your review, obviously.
Yep.
And all of the faults listed, I was like, yeah, it could have just come out of the checklist for Empire. Naval combat at the start is a bit rubbish, and
Yep.
AI is bad. And
So-
you just have to game it. Like, how far are you in the campaign? Like,
About 10 hours in one of them, so pretty far.
so I used to run like one of the tests was see if you can take over every nation within how long the shift lasts, so maybe like 8 or 10 hours, which is quite fun as it goes. And towards the end, what you do, you just fuck off all the actual combat, and you just get loads of your army outside.
And
just try, because you can see, I mean, in that game, I haven't played this one, you can see like the battle, the balance of power.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you just offer them loads of money or make someone else a protectorate, and then it's just like, and it just becomes really quite boring once you know how to game it.
I think that's actually a very good point. I was going to make that myself. It's not. Not the whole.
That excellent point that I was going to make.
Not the whole point you just made. Just the final idea that it's not the fact that the AI in general is even that bad. It's just very easy to exploit. Because almost all the decisions that the other nations do, both on the campaign map and in the battles themselves, are reactions to your decisions. And of course, it's going to be that way because it's extremely difficult to try and program an AI system that can think for itself in terms of tactics without it being the same situation every single time. And so it's a kind of reaction to what you do. But because of that, there's some very obvious things you can kind of break the balance of power with. I mean, last night I was playing on the hardest difficulty, trying to impress the live stream. Yeah.
I was about to say trying to impress the ladies.
Well, ladies
so
on the live
we need to have a
stream.
Look
chat.
at my hard difficulty, lady.
And I did a battle that I was outnumbered about 6-1, or at least the balance and power was 6-1 in their favour, and I managed to win just by taking a really fast unit and kind of running it all over the map and just distracting the enemy.
Like Benny Hill.
Yeah, if that theme music was on, it would have suited it perfectly, because their army their tight formation just scattered, and they didn't have a clue what to do, just because I was running my cavalry around the back. And so I marched my main force straight through the middle and managed to win fairly comfortably.
But it's got naval combat now, right?
Yeah, that's right. In fact,
everyone loves naval combat.
Naval combat's been a little bit tricky in Total War games, but the interesting thing they've done in this one is they've combined the land and naval combat in certain situations. So you can have a battle where you're laying siege to a city with your land forces, but you've also got some reinforcements coming in with your ships.
It's pretty good.
And that, when it works, it's fantastic, because you get this feeling that, like, oh man, if I can quickly take out their ships on the naval front, then these reinforcements are going to swing the battle. However, the naval combat's buggy, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes you'll go to try and board a ship, and your ship just remains stationary, and the unit doesn't move out of it in time, and you lose. I think what makes it so obvious for the naval combat is that when things go wrong, they go really wrong, because your ship will be destroyed, and you lose all the men on that ship. And it's just like, oh, God. And you can't help but notice when like these kind of things go wrong. With in the land battles, you can kind of take certain things for granted, but yeah, I imagine that's gonna get fixed over the next month. Total War games are renowned for being buggy when they first come out, getting fixed by the developers,
really,
and then getting properly fixed by modders.
That's pretty bad. I mean, I guess because you're still obviously enjoying it, because you wouldn't, you wouldn't still be playing it. But the fact you have to rely on other people once it's come out is
it's exactly. It's frustrating because they've been doing it for so long, and I'm getting frustrated of apologising for the Total War games now, because I love Total War so much, the battles and the setup. I kind of forgive it for a lot of these mistakes.
But I think they know that, don't they? They must do, otherwise
they do.
Would, yeah,
absolutely. And it's kind of an interesting situation to be in, because I think because Rome has always been my favourite out of the series, going back to that and not being this really tight, impressive game that I was hoping for, that's kind of the first moment where I thought, unless the next game is very impressive, I'm going to start losing favour with these guys, just because that was the one I always wanted them to do perfectly.
They've used up your goodwill, Chris.
A little bit. They haven't got there yet, but they're certainly making me think that.
Two more problems, then maybe. Then I think about it.
Three more games. So that's
Creative Assembly. Fuck off.
But that's the thing, yeah. Like, but the thing is, if a lot of people may be like that, but obviously the majority are just like, I'll accept it because they like the game so much.
Yeah. And
goodwill goes a long way.
You find that in every type of game, though, right? It's not just limited to Creative Assembly.
No, but
not at all.
I think the difference with them is because they don't have a direct competitor to them, because of the way they handle strategy games is different to the rest of that genre. They get away with that more because they haven't got a direct competitor, which everyone will say, well, these are doing it much better. Come on, why aren't you keeping up?
Yeah. What about that Europa
Universalis? God, I can't even say it. I spent a long time in that, and it's a very different kind of game. It's very number heavy, but
then ignore me.
That has certainly made me start to compare how the diplomacy works in those two games. It makes a lot more sense in Europa, and I just imagine how good the Total War series could be if the diplomacy worked.
And yet you still love it all the same.
Well, you had to control thousands of Romans and just have ridiculous battles.
I never did that, and it's going to sound really bad, but it wasn't my department. Even when I was working on it, I was like, no. I hated the land
Auto resolve.
I hated the land
bitch.
battles. Maybe it's because I'm a Civ guy, but I hated that because, like you say, they were so buggy. So buggy. It's like, oh, if you've got like hussars, it's like, oh yeah, use those guys. It's the same tactic every time. And I do think that they need to buck up their ideas, because some of the stuff in this thing you forgive
Look
it.
at me. I'm not part of Crystal. No, what are they called?
Crystal
Creative
Dynamics.
Assembly. I was about to say Crystal-
No wonder. Creative Assembly making Tomb Raider. Oh my days. Be a real-time strategy where you raid tombs against Nazis. Fuck.
That's it. That's
Right,
the
next game.
Yeah,
Miller?
What have you been playing, Simon?
Just got looked at like I'd done
Come
a
on.
crime. I've been playing FIFA finally came in. FIFA usually gets in a bit earlier in this, but we got our in-house FIFA build, so we didn't have to go to a place that's not VideoGamer branded and play it.
We don't like to leave the office too.
No, we like to stay here. Now I played PES as well, and I think it's the slowest. I just don't like it this year at all, PES. I don't know whether it's just using this new engine and they need to focus on other things, but it's not for me this year. FIFA. Now, the problem with talking about FIFA now is that it will probably change twice before it actually gets the box
At
version.
least.
Yeah,
The
box
this is
version.
the first time I've ever seen a preview.
But this is builder's review code.
Oh, a review code, yeah. But
Well, it's built as it's common. We don't have to get into that, but some people will be reviewing off this code. But I mean, that always happens. I mean, to pull the wool back. That's not a saying. We'll go with
back.
it. Pull the wool back.
can I just quote you on another saying that you said in one of the videos recently?
Yeah, I like making
If
up
that's
sayings.
what rubs your boat.
Yep, that's what rubs your boat. What? You rubbed a boat? Good luck, that is.
Who's rubbing boats?
I'm rubbing boats, baby. Yeah, I mean, that's always been the way with FIFA. And it's not a problem as long as the final game is good. But at the moment, I quite like FIFA 14. And we're playing the current gen versions. Everyone says the next gen versions are quite different. But it's slower than FIFA 13, which is weird because FIFA 13 wasn't exactly fast. But it's more methodical in a good way. So everything you do has to be a lot more, well, I think so anyway, has to be a lot more thought out. You can't use the flanks as much at all. Like, it's just, you can't rely on just flipping a ball in. And when you do put a cross in, it feels a lot more weighted to what you're actually doing. So if you actually want to try and pinpoint somebody that's in the box, it's not just tap B. You kind of have to... It's the same with shooting as well, actually. They've probably done it across the board. You can't just hold a button down for, say, X amount of seconds. You actually have to think, well, I want to go there, therefore the way the controller has been set up and the new mechanics they put into it have to hold it down for a certain amount of time. So it does feel more satisfying. You can actually score with your head now, which is good.
Yeah,
I scored a diving header yesterday.
I know, it doesn't just go flying over the bar every time.
Because I always used to play as Stoke, I rely on scoring headers pretty much.
Yeah, of course, because the team is like always 8 foot tall.
And the last FIFA game, aerial kind of shots were really, really difficult. But the game before that, it was really easy.
Yeah, but that was the problem because everyone said that. So it's kind of weird because you can't abuse the flanks as much, but heading is better. So it's a very strange kind of compromise to make, but it does work. And the only problem I have with the build we have now is the ball gets lost in the middle of the park a lot. It's like a commentator doesn't know what he's talking about. But it does. I always feel like there's about 100 players around sort of, in the middle, and you've got all your players sort of encroaching on it, and it's hard to kind of play out of that. But that just may be a thing that they're working out. But it is something there. I like it a lot. It's nice to play new FIFA. It feels fresh and shooting feels a lot better. You can actually put dip on the ball and stuff, can't you? It's nice. It feels good.
I only played a couple of games with...
I think you lost to me twice. I think it was 1-0, 1-0. I think that's what happened.
I don't think you need to point that out, to be honest. And that was,
well, in the 5 goals that I smashed past our ads manager...
What was the score, though? What was the final? Because all the games I played tight.
8-0.
So was it actually?
8-0, yeah.
We're really bad.
What was the teams?
It was Bayern versus Real.
Well, it takes. My other point was it feels like it's harder to score. Absolute bollocks, clearly. Okay.
With the point about the flanks, I think is probably true for teams that aren't as set up to play like that. But with Bayern, so you've got Lahm,
Robin,
and you've got all those guys, and you've always got the constant overlap. I scored quite a few goals like that, but it's more methodical. It's not. It does get a little bit bogged down, and I think they could tighten that a little bit. But it feels in the midfield a little bit like UEFA Euro 2008, which is a bit
of a good game though.
But that was the game where I actually thought they've done it.
That's when FIFA came. Yeah, I totally agree.
And then I remember being excited that year. Me and my friends were like, okay, so if they just, FIFA 09 just has to be that game with club teams and a few changes, and it was very, very good.
So you play the next gen version as well of FIFA. So how does that compare to the current gen? Just for people wondering whether or not they need to make the upgrade yet.
So it's not a million times better, and I think we talked about this a lot. It's the next gen versions of games aren't that big kind of whoa moment.
Yeah, especially when they are kicking,
NBA maybe
when they're ready to
apparently.
go.
At Gamescom, the NBA guy said the reason they haven't announced their next gen one properly is because it's going to be massively different. There you go, that's an aside.
Okay, well, for FIFA and for Call of Duty and all the staples essentially, but it's hard to tell. It was hard to describe if you haven't played them both. But a lot of people think that builds of FIFA play differently. So when you say it's slower, some people actually think it'll be faster, but they're talking about different areas of the game. So the movement when you're through on goal in FIFA 14, current gen and next gen, is much faster. It's not like you can always be pulled back, which is one of FIFA's main failings. Players don't run at the same speeds.
Right. Okay.
But in the middle of the park, there's a lot more passing, and that is the same for the next generation version as well. The next generation version has a lot more animations to it. But it seems a bit quicker. Players seem to be quicker in and out of those, which was always a main problem for FIFA this generation. And it looks shiny, and you can see the stitching on the goalkeepers.
Thing, isn't it? Making new version of the game, I expect a little bit of shiny.
Imagine FIFA 14 this generation. So if you pick up FIFA 14 this month and you get it on Xbox, PlayStation, imagine that. Imagine a little bit faster, a little bit more intricate. Quite a bit better looking, but not like shit. It looks like television, just in the little things like lighting and animations.
I like what they've done with the ball as well. It doesn't stick to your foot anymore. The ball's independent.
But people hate that. What I love about speaking to people about sports games is they hate different things. Like, I love the first. I hate shit.
But I like it because it makes it feel different. I'm done with. It's the same with every year. I'm done with FIFA 13 now. I'm done with it. I played it for a year straight. I know how to abuse all the systems, and it's dull. Unless you play with a mate or something. But
so that's like when you're doing a first touch, if you try something a little bit too ambitious, sometimes the ball will just kind of stay there and you'll play
it looks like sort of amateur league football. Because I mean, you were stoked when you played, and at one point the ball came into Kenway Jones, and apparently Kenway Jones just decided to literally kick it away. But it was actually the physics of the ball and where it hit your boot, and I think you tried to do a trick or something like that.
Probably.
And I like that. I mean, it does feel weird. It does feel alien. When you first use it, you're probably going, I don't like that. But it's something to learn. It's something to get used to. And I think it helps with the tricks. Because I think most people, you should just sort of hold, left trigger or whatever.
And then just spin the right analog stick. That was always
this way you kind of can be a little bit more thoughtful with it. I think it could be really, really good. Like I say, you need to sit down and absolutely play the crap out of FIFA before you know. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how it felt. I enjoyed how it played. And I enjoyed the shooting a lot
Immediate
more.
Impressions.
Don't like all the new menu stuff, but that's such a point aside.
It.
Yeah, you get Jeff Stelling half-time things, don't you, full-time. I love that. No, I think it's really good. I think I'd probably get it for current gen and then pick up my next-gen copy at some point next year, just to sort of muck around with it. It's a bit cheaper, really.
And you can keep your saves, so I guess that's...
Get it free with an Xbox.
Yeah.
Day one, though, innit?
Or just buy a PlayStation 4 and FIFA and not waste...
I can't even imagine playing FIFA on a PlayStation controller. I don't think it would work.
Dave, you've been unbelievably quiet in the last few minutes. What's up with you, pal?
I'm all right.
You played any video games this week? Anything fun?
No, I'm just here for a jolly, really.
Jolly Rancer?
Yeah.
Good tweet.
Yeah. Hold on, has anyone got any of those?
No.
Unfortunately not. You're all right there, mate? You okay? Everything good?
I'm a bit upset, actually.
Dave's.
What's up, pal?
So I was playing a little bit of Saints Row over the weekend.
All right.
Which is still good, but I've caught all of the little collectibles now. I've got all of them.
Crackdown syndrome.
Yeah, so now I'm like, there's no point now.
You did. So done. They control the upgrade.
Don't worry about the actual game.
So does that mean you're just upgraded like crazy? Because
because you still need to do missions to unlock upgrades, which you then purchase with the collectibles.
Okay.
What they call clusters and stuff like that.
Isn't that the incentive? Get weird superpowers.
Yeah, but I just like running around really fast and jumping on buildings and climbing up buildings to get the little blue clusters.
But how long did it take you to get all the clusters?
15 hours.
That's still pretty good, though. That's a good size of game, that is. It's gaming good. And I bet you got an achievement for all of them.
Oh, God.
I did. 30G.
There you go.
That's the reason, isn't it?
That popped and I was like, right, game over. Next. When's GTA here?
You're a terrible man.
That's the thing, though. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Sorry, my mic keeps falling over and it's driving me nuts. GTA, 2 weeks.
Don't you dare chase after collectibles in GTA and then give up on the game.
They're hard collectibles in GTA.
The pigeons are back,
pigeons.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they back?
Trying to find them is a good grief.
I was really pissed off because GTA 4, I rushed through it to get all the collectibles and 100% it. Because if you did it within like the first week, you got a Rockstar key. Remember that? Key to the city. It's a physical key that Rockstar would send you.
Did you get one?
No, I did it because you had to sign up to the social club, submit your gamer tag and all that. And if you did it all 100% it within the first week, they'd send you the physical key. So I rushed through it, kind of spoiled it for myself in a sense. Never got a key.
Get the key, chase them up.
It's like 5 years too late now.
Is it?
It's never too late.
All right, Rockstar, if you're listening, where's my key?
Where's Dave's key?
But no, I haven't really played much. I'm still struggling to get into Rayman Legends. I keep loading it up and literally doing one level and then going...
Are you
not
playing
in
it
the
on your
mood.
own or with...
Playing on my own, yeah.
Try getting caught, man.
But I loved Origins. And I played through Origins all by
I did
myself.
read a review the other day on a website that I'm not going to name. Nah, screw you. Not giving you a plug. Said
It was VideoGamer.
Yeah, it was awful. They said that it's a game that you just forget as soon as you finished it.
Really?
Which is not exactly the most. They liked it, but they said, "I've done it, and now I've moved on. I'm on somewhere else." Which is not exactly the most ringing endorsement.
Well, I read that Castle of Illusion was better than Rayman Legends, which I refuse to believe, having played a little bit.
It's
Who
not.
said that?
Someone, I can't remember who it was.
I'm not naming you either.
I
no
reviewed
plugs
it.
for anybody.
Castle
Go on,
of
Ben. Talk about Castle of Illusion.
Well, we both played a bit of Castle of Illusion,
exactly.
actually, haven't we?
I played a
So
bit as well. I think I lasted about 8 seconds.
Yeah.
It's getting big scores from people, except us.
Before we get into this, let's put something out. I always like to say this. Please remember, world, that opinions make life better. And if Dave loves, I don't know, Saints Row 4, and I don't, I haven't played Saints Row 4, I think it looks awesome. But if that's the case, that's good. That's good for everybody. Castle of Illusion.
Nice.
Yes, absolutely.
What a pile of shit.
That was good. Yeah, you could not like this game.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was a boy, in the midst of time, I remember playing a lot of Castle Illusion on Master System, not Mega Drive, on Master System.
So did I.
So there's a lot of nostalgia factor, and the way that they've done kind of updated the levels, and they've now got a hub system.
It looks really pretty.
And it looks very nice, and production value wise, in terms of its presentation, the audio is very good. There's narration.
Yeah,
Is Morgan Freeman doing the narration?
No,
it sounds like Morgan
Patrick
Freeman.
Stewart?
It sounds like I thought it sounded like the More Than Freeman guy. That's
More than Freeman.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great ad! Well, but the simple. My problem with it is, well, there's a few problems all related to the mechanics of the game. Now, it can look as good as it wants, and it can sound as good, and I can think, I remember playing this, well, something akin to this when I was a boy. But when I press jump, I want my character to jump. This is the thing.
That doesn't seem like too much to ask.
If I'm playing Call of Duty and I press fire gun and it doesn't fire the gun instantly, that's called, that's the sort of thing that drives people to murder.
Well, we did a test of this, didn't we, about the input lag? And we pushed the controller to the right. We heard the tap of the stick hitting the end.
I was delayed.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other before the character moved on screen.
Wow, man.
There's too much
sort of
inertia, but it's really strange. There's like too much inertia, so that if you jump and then just hit left, he'll just like fly off. But then you can immediately interrupt that. So it's not like he has any weight to him. So like in all the it's
Mario does it the best.
Like Sonic
you
4.
jump and you push and it just moves, and it moves perfectly in Mario, and that's the
Maybe if
key.
you do that run in Mario, then pull back on the stick, he slides, doesn't he, as he readjusts? Yeah.
Whereas this, you so what you'll do is you'll jump and it will take too long to jump. So then you'll readjust yourself, and you'll hit like a hard left because you can't trust it to just move a little bit left, and then you'll go too far, and then you'll have to hit right, and the collision detection's really poor, so you just slide off there. I think Miller came in to play it. It was the last level, but it's pretty simple. You have to jump around the spire of the castle.
Yeah.
He slid off 3 times, went, right. And left the room.
Because the annoying thing is, and maybe you have to play Castle of Illusion a bit more. Maybe it's not trying to be this game, but it must be because it's a platformer. Is if I'm jumping sort of left to right on blocks that are coming out of a castle wall, I expect to be able to jump onto one, instantly hit left on the D-pad and hit A, and it all understood what I'm doing, but it doesn't. What it wants you to do is hit left, take your finger off, hit A, jump up, and that's not how any platform has to work, because any good platform is Twitch, really, to the point where you're reacting as soon as things happen. It doesn't do that.
That last boss, it would be so simple to do if it wasn't for the input lag.
Yeah, and it can be an incredibly cheap game, which the older games weren't.
That's just old games in general. I think
easy,
just cheap.
But the problem is for me is that there are really nice moments. There's some of the stages are very nicely done. The one with the toys, so you probably remember that if you played that when you were a kid. That's how it probably felt in your nostalgia.
Yeah, it's so weird
memory.
when you play games that have been remade in that sense.
And there's one in the clock tower when you're fighting to the top, and that is a real sense of kind of. I don't know,
Does it feel Disney?
Claustrophobia. Yeah, it does. And there's claustrophobia. Is like the cogs come round. You have to jump. And we're like, actually, this is really cool. If when I press jump, it jumped. And the game would be immeasurably better if they just got that simple thing right. What a stupid thing to say, but why should we be saying it?
Yeah. You played Killzone Mercenary as well, right?
I did. We reviewed it. I didn't review it, but I played it.
You played it quite a lot, though.
Yeah, I played it quite a lot a couple months ago. And I said at the time, it didn't really feel like it felt like the promise of handheld gaming from like 2005. You know, and it's like, the PSP. You can play your PS3 games on your Vita, and that's never really worked out. Not for the massive budget games. There have been games that have been on consoles that have been adapted and they've worked really well. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, so we reviewed it and it came in and it got 6. I just think that's probably a fair score. It's fun, but then you're like, I could be playing this elsewhere, and yeah, it's just
by the numbers.
Yeah,
it looked like it was by the numbers, and it apparently is by the numbers.
Yeah, and it's got concessions have been made. You know, it's a lot more kind of drop in, drop out. There's like a kill for cash, kind of a little bit like Mercenaries, RE4, 5, 6, whatever. But at the same time, even playing it from the limited amount of time I did, so I played it for 2.5 hours, I think. That was on one stage.
4-hour game.
It's a 4-hour game.
Oh, really?
So I was pretty much...
Although I don't have a problem with that. I don't. If it was really good on a handheld, I'd take 4 hours.
It's got a
for
multiplayer
better or
as
worse.
well, right?
Yeah, but even that is apparently kind of, you know, it's interesting and it is impressive that they've managed to get.
Yeah, it looks
and
really
it looks
good.
really good, and that's all down to the screen as much as it is the hardware, you know, the other hardware governs. And it uses the apparently Vita stuff, like touchscreen stuff, really well. But at the same time, I think we talked about this before, it's Nintendo. You know, Nintendo, you don't just go, right, take this and put it there. You change things up a little bit. You know, it would have been very easy, way back when, I feel, for Nintendo to go, make Super Mario Brothers, or, you know, just port that to Game Boy.
Right now.
Or they made Super Mario Land, or, you know, and then they made the
Super Mario
Super
Land
2, the golden coins, and there was, you know.
I'm going to go on record that Chris has never played Super Mario Land.
I have. Of course I have.
You don't know what
Do we have a Game Boy in this
is.
office?
I'm not sure if we do have a Game Boy in this
I
office.
don't think Chris knows what a Game Boy is.
Oh, God. All right, okay, I wasn't born in the 80s. We need to move past this, guys. All right, we can do it as a team.
But I agree. I think that's the problem. I was playing Mario Brothers Dream Team again the other day. Even though I finished it once for review, I thought I'd play it again because it's so good. And it's just, they would never put that on the Wii U. But it's marvellous.
The complaint with Mercenaries is that it just hasn't been adapted enough for the Vita, or
but that's the problem. That in a way, that's what the Vita is, isn't it? It's supposed to be your portable PlayStation, and that's cool. And there's certain, you know, I'm sure if you like Killzone, you'll get this and think, oh, this is excellent. But it doesn't. I need a reason to buy a Vita. At the moment, I don't know what that reason is.
Is it the type of game that you can play in shorter bursts? Is it designed for kind of handheld?
The kill mechanic. What's it called? The chaining thing. You can chain combos together and kills together and stuff.
The way to think about it is, it has been adapted, but that's not enough. So it's Killzone, right? Great. Okay, but I want to play Killzone on a massive television in ridiculous, you know,
there's got to be a different reason.
I really liked Killzone Liberation.
I don't like Killzone.
Was that the top-down one?
Yeah.
Good game.
I liked it.
They were more on track with that, but then again, fair play to Sony, I guess, because that didn't work either. Nobody bought it. So, I don't know.
But was that more to do with the fact it was Killzone?
Maybe. Metal Gear Acid.
I don't know why
that's what we're talking about. Still the best gear on PlayStation Portable ever. And PS Vita, Metal Gear Acid.
Really?
The first one. Yep. Loved it. What a great game.
Metal Gear Acid
10
the
out of
first.
10. Metal Gear Acid the first. And they ruined it with Metal Gear Acid 2. You had to wear that stupid thing over your face.
Oh, yeah, that was super
Well,
shit.
it hurt. It gave you a headache. What'd they do that for?
3D binoculars.
Yeah. That was stupid. It's 15 years old today. Oh, yesterday, Metal Gear Solid, isn't it?
Remember getting
There's
that
a song
game.
we can sing.
I was reading a thread on
To
a
you.
popular forum about it, and it actually made me feel quite nostalgic because I remember when I was a boy picking up the
God, there's a lot of nostalgia in
the
this
UK
podcast. It's
well-
getting heavy, man. It's getting heavy.
picking up the UK kind of the UK version, and just thinking, oh, this is a real milestone. Even at that time, I was like, fuck, this is amazing.
Talking of Metal Gear Solid very quickly, there is an amazing parody of Metal Gear Solid in Saints Row 4.
Yeah?
You have
Oh,
it.
is it the stealth mission? Have you done a stealth
It is
mission?
the stealth mission.
Dave,
I haven't-
can you
Maybe
bring,
turn down
can
if you
you
don't
bring it
spoil
in? Can you? Because I want to play Saints Row. So bring it in.
You want my
are you
copy
asking,
of Saints
are you
Row?
asking
Yeah.
him for a hug?
We
You
have a
bring him
copy
in
of
and then you
Saints
were like,
Row.
just
Do we?
bring-
That's his copy. We have a copy.
Will we have a copy in this
Of
office?
course we do.
You've got to finish this podcast, Steve.
I asked the powers that be if we had one. They lied to me.
Okay.
They lied to me.
We didn't. Well, I was going to say something about Metal Gear before we go off it. I'll never forgive Kojima for Metal Gear Solid 2 when you get the difficulty choice to begin with. It basically says, have you played a lot of Metal Gear Solid? Have you not played a lot of Metal Gear Solid? Or you just kind of, I'd played Metal Gear Solid, but I still
It's like,
considered
what's a
myself.
lot?
But I consider myself like a passing fan. You know, I thought it meant like that, like how much you know about the story. I thought I know a bit. And so if you pick that option, it just skips all the snake stuff.
That's amazing.
So
isn't it?
I went into school the next day and I was like, oh god, really good beginning. It's a bit weird that you're riding and stuff. And they said, how did you get there so quick? You got it late last night. I said, we're talking about the bit of the snake. What? I'd start again. Screw you, Kojima. That is bollocks. You make something in a game, you give it to me. And it's crap.
I had an argument about, and while we're on topic of Metal Gear, I had an argument in a pub the other day at someone's birthday party. Yeah, rocking. When I said that Metal Gear Solid 2 is the Phantom Menace of video games. And they were like, well, actually, there's loads of good stuff.
You really don't like Metal Gear 2,
I like
do you?
Metal Gear 2.
Let me put it to you this way.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
It's the overhyped next installment in a massive, massive series. Well, just one game as it was then. It arrives on the back of a wave of hype that would just take out New York if it was real and hit it. And it's rubbish. It's fucking rubbish.
It's
not rubbish, right.
The first half an hour is some of the best game ever made. The next bit, let's put it on these struts that all look the same, so you have to have a map. You don't have a map in Metal Gear.
Who likes Metal Gear? I like Metal Gear 2.
I like Metal Gear.
Metal Gear Solid
2,
3,
sorry.
superb.
Bratters, 2, yes or no?
Yes.
See?
Metal Gear 4 was the weakest one.
Let's the best thing to do, because we're only 4 people in a room. Metal Gear Solid 4 is my favourite one.
No, the weakest one.
Oh, I like it. Oh, I misheard what you said. Let's move on. Twitter, tweet us. Do you like Metal Gear Solid 2 at VideoGamer.com? I'd really be interested to see what people think. I bet you it's 50-50. Just yes or no, and then hashtag Metal Gear Solid 2 or whatever.
So what are your main complaints with it? You don't like Raiden?
It's not Raiden.
Why are we discussing Metal Gear Solid 2?
It's not Raiden.
I'm interested.
It's 1998. 2000. Whenever it fucking came out.
2002.
Okay, whenever it
Close.
came out.
Okay, so it's not Raiden. I actually really like the the narrative where you get to see Snake from someone else's point of view. And it's not the fact
Snake's a massive dick from Raiden's point
I know,
of
it's
view.
great, but that's
just walks
cool.
around making a mess.
and he has a shave. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily any of that stuff where Raiden's got stupid hair or he's all
He's
girly.
a girl, yeah.
It's just the fact
I never
that
understood that, by the way, the girl thing.
It was just a bloke with long hair.
Yeah.
I was
Anyway.
more concerned when that Colonel guy started, his AI broke and he started talking in riddles. That was weird.
But yeah, that's the point. So you have the first kind of 30 or 40 minutes, depending how long it takes to complete it, maybe an hour. And it's really cool. You're
the
playing,
snake stuff, right?
But it's the interactivity in that. There's some really cool stuff where
It's when you got to sneak past the guards in
you
the...
sneak past the guards and it feels... And then you get to the next bit and it's so dull. It's a bunch of struts, for those of you that haven't played it, you definitely have, on an oil rig. And you have to have a map because they all look exactly the same.
We've just rewound 5 minutes. What's going on?
And then
made this point.
and then the story just goes, you know what? If you skip the story in the last 5 hours of Metal Gear Solid 2, there'd be 10 minutes of gameplay. Oh, look, now I'm swimming around with some girl.
It always happens in Metal Gear.
Yeah, it is Metal Gear.
But no, it doesn't, because in Metal Gear Solid, all of that cutscene to gameplay ratio was far...
From the moment that you...
wasn't.
Spoiler if you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 1. Yes, 1 burned.
Oh, goodness gracious.
From the moment
point is invalidated. You can't even get the name of the game right, Dave.
The moment you kill Sniper Wolf in Metal Gear 1, just that end bit might as well just be completely cut until you get to the boss, the Liquid Snake bit.
No, madness, because you've got to do the keycard stuff.
The worst bit
Might as well cut it.
out of all of this is the end of Metal Gear Solid 2 when Thingamabob, I can't remember, goes, it was the Patriots. And everyone I know just goes, who the hell are the Patriots?
Isn't it
Makes
like
absolutely no
the
sense.
La Le Lu Le Lo or something?
Absolute worst series ever, and we all love it.
It sounds like
And also, it controls like a fucking dog. Like to fire your gun in first person, I believe takes like
5 button presses.
If you want to lean, so I think it's L1. It's L1
love
to
it.
look, R1 to pull up your gun, hold down square. No, R1 to do something. Hold square, and then release slowly to fire the gun.
Yeah,
if you want to lean,
release.
You have to hold the 2 back. It's an exam. It's a physical exam. It's a medical. That's
I
what
love
Ozil
it.
did when he signed for
It has
Arsenal.
so much personality, that game. I hate saying that, but it really does. It's bonkers. 10.
So yeah,
10
Metal
out
Gear
of
Solid 3 on the other hand is my personal favourite. Now let's move on.
Let's do some news.
Very nice.
Let's load some juice
Let's
into
do some
the
news.
cannon.
Not from
News cannon.
2002.
It's gone boom.
The news cannon.
It's gone
At
boom.
my ears, Braz. What
Sorry.
about the poor people at home? or on a train, maybe? Or in school, in an exam?
Well, I'm sorry about that. I'll mess with the audio so it doesn't sound
No,
like I
no,
just
you-
shouted into the into my
News cannon.
There's
I want
been so
some
much
news.
going on this week that I don't know what to choose. So I thought I'd start with your thing, Bratters, that you wanted to talk about.
2DS. The 2DS was.
That wasn't what I was going for, but let's start there.
I like the 2DS. I'm the only one. I'm
Whoa.
him. I'm the
God.
man. I'm
God.
the best.
We haven't seen it yet, right?
Well, basically, we have.
We haven't played it. We haven't
No.
touched
No,
it.
I
We haven't
haven't.
felt it. We haven't rubbed it.
Oh,
We haven't.
caressed it.
I like it though. But the people seem to not understand who it's for. It's for people that play Pokemon, and it will sell millions upon millions of units with people that just want a Pokemon playing machine, and it's cheap.
It's not cheap enough, though.
It's £110.
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap.
Not
Should be
cheap enough.
99.99.
Should be 89.99. Wasn't the original DS 89.99?
No, when it first came out,
Yeah?
definitely was not. It was
think it
more
was.
than that. No,
Think it was?
It was over. It was plus 100.
Don't think so.
No, it was definitely about 120 quid at some point.
Right, Twitter. 89.99, yes or no? I'm sure it was because I was there selling
stop
them.
turning the podcast listeners into your personal
Actually,
kind of like.
I think we
QA.
need a resolution on that now. Can we find out how much it was?
Right, let's load it up on the laptop.
Oh God, you've not used this
But
laptop
keep talking.
before, have you?
Come
No,
on.
let's not do that.
Okay,
That's
well-
going to take. I've used that laptop before. It's not going to work.
So yeah, it's not targeted at us, but it is still very ugly. Like there's no getting around
ugly.
that.
I
So was the
it's
original
fine.
DS. I mean, that thing.
Yeah, the original DS. That is like if you gave birth to that, you would want it out of your life.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember, you know those big kind of LCD games you can buy on planes?
does look
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's
It looks like that.
Or the ones that had like water inside, and you'd like press the buttons to like make
But
little
it's
beads go over the
amazing.
thing.
It's not
That's
for
what it looks
us.
like.
That's the thing. It's for kids. That's why it looks like a kiddie device.
But surely
Shit, that's right,
every
right.
DS is for kids as well.
Yeah, but the 3DS, for example, though, is for a wide range. Hence why
I do like that in the ad the like kind of the father's playing on the 3DS whilst his son's on the 2DS. He's clearly bought the better for himself.
Yeah, but the 3DS is neutral. It's neither nice nor not nice.
It's
It just is. Whereas the 2DS is very kiddie, very acceptable.
Nintendo's entire strategy, I don't know what planet they're on.
Well,
They bring out a console and they're like, 3D is the best thing ever made, you will buy a 3DS. And then they're like, here's the same console but without the best thing ever made, the 2DS, and it's cheaper.
for a different market, and it will sell.
But it's so confusing. It's so... people...
I'm not that confused.
But you're not the market. You just said that, you're
I
not
am
the market. You just said that this is for kids and presumably, extending that it's for the,
Yeah, but
the
kids-
mothers picking up that for kids.
But-
the parents already are confused between DS and
No,
3DS.
I don't think they are. I think we...
They totally are.
I don't think so.
They totally are. And the fact is that all the fucking
Why would
retailers...
they be confused about it? It's really obvious. This is a 2DS. This is what it does. This
But
is
it's
a 3DS.
the same
this is what it
name,
does.
isn't it? It's just exactly
Yeah,
like the
well,
Wii and the Wii U.
I think that's doing a disservice to people. I think people are smart enough to work out the difference.
Absolutely
between the
not.
two.
I think
Absolutely, Dave Scammell, absolutely not. General public, you are dumb. You don't know anything.
Trust me.
I don't know.
count.
If you
I think I've worked... The problem is I've worked in retail. I know the kind of people that buy this shit.
how do people know the difference between the DS and the 2DS? In
If
terms
they're
of
that
the-
stupid, they'll just buy them all, and Nintendo would do their money
Well,
dance.
no, because what happened with the 3DS was people were buying 3DS games expecting them to work on their DS. Do you remember that? And that's why they had to put out those little inserts that highlighted the fact that it was actually a 3DS game. They had to send out these bright red inserts that retailers had to put into the cases to say
amazing,
this is a
isn't
3DS game.
Yep.
Like people see DS and go, that'll work.
I do think there's going to be some confusion. I also think Simon is right in the fact that they will probably sell a ginormous number. But
I think it's more of a
Pokemon
Japanese
machine.
market.
Yeah.
It'll sell loads, and also just to butt in, my research, Wikipedia,
Nice.
has told me that the original DS launched as a bundle with Metroid Prime Hunter's First Hunt, a WarioWare demo, and a pre-release version of Super Mario 64 at $129.99.
Yes.
But that is the bundle.
I
Who knows
don't
if
care.
it-
I said the one I bought cost that much money. That's vindication right there.
I hate
Vin
that your phone can do
Dieselcation.
it.
Sorry, I mean,
Laptop.
you know, look,
I'm sure it was $89.99.
It probably wasn't. I think we're both right. But I mean, look, the best thing to do with Nintendo handhelds, I've learnt, is to sit back, cross your legs, and just wait to see what happens.
Imagine a console coming out.
Why do I need to cross my
$129.99.
legs?
Because I need the toilet.
Oh, okay.
Because everyone always goes, oh no, the DS is going to die. What an ugly thing. Who would possibly want that thing? And then it sold 82 gazillion copies.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3DS came out, oh, nobody would be interested in 3DS. Also, it was terrible. And now it's doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
But the Wii
So I
U's not,
think-
though.
That's not handheld.
I don't want to get onto that because we talk about that every week.
But it's not at the moment, the one constant is their handheld division. And I also think it's a good idea. I do think it makes sense. I understand what they're trying to do.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I just think the strategy's confusing.
We'll find out.
Oh yeah,
It'll be fun.
Dave. Sorry, this is the new research dog now. The new research hound. According to more internet research, it was at $89.99.
Oh man!
But that was a price drop for the release of Nintendogs.
Yeah, so I thought. It's definitely plus 100 at some point.
Okay, right.
Those pink
Let's get back to
fucking
it.
Nintendo
Let's talk
bundles.
about how Heavy Rain was offered to Microsoft first, and Microsoft said no.
That's not the first time they've done that.
That is a very weird story.
Is
isn't
it? I don't think it's that weird.
Do you know
The
what
fact
the
that
other game they
down-
turned down was?
They turned down a game that ended up being a really influential PlayStation exclusive. I think I'm surprised.
But it just suits PlayStation more.
Is it
What's the other one
influential?
first?
They
Before we...
turned apparently, according to Dean Takahashi from VentureBeat, in his book about the Xbox 360, apparently they turned down GTA 3.
Oh yeah, you've told me that before.
Microsoft turned out GTA 3?
Apparently, because
They didn't get it or
What they
something.
had was when the original Xbox was coming together, they had what he describes, Takahashi describes as something like I think it's called the Star Council. That's like a movie of Michael Douglas.
The
Star Council, something like that, where there's like influential people decide the real like law, essentially. So judges and lawyers come together. It's a movie. I think it's called Star Council, something like that. And it's a bit. But
That's something I'd make as a joke.
The inner the inner echelons of Microsoft. So maybe guys like Jay Allard or something. He gives a lot of examples. Had veto power, or could go right. Well, we need this and we need that, or whatever. And apparently, GTA 3 was offered. And it was vetoed because apparently due to all the cop killing and all the unseen stuff. And you can imagine that.
I can understand that more than Heavy Rain, to be honest, because the GTA, is.
But the reason
can you imagine making that cool? Now we're not going with it. Excuse me.
The guys at the Beatles will never make it.
The reason they turned down Heavy Rain.
He killed himself a year later.
The reason they turned down Heavy Rain, presumably, is because of the story around kidnapping a child,
which is weird because.
It's an adult storyline.
That's the thing.
It's not a controversial storyline.
But maybe, I don't think... to me, it always seemed more of a Sony thing. I think Sony are a lot more ambitious.
Yeah, but that's because
they're a lot more
Microsoft
risky.
Turned down stuff like that. And I don't think Sony have always been that big.
But Ico, for example, I don't think we'd ever see Ico on a Microsoft machine. Back then, I think, it was... Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, I think, are a testament to the way that Sony, with their first-party stuff, they like to take... gambles. Gamble's the wrong word, but they like to be a bit more interesting. Is
it? And this might sound, I don't know, a little bit too simple, but is it the fact that Microsoft is an American firm and Sony, pretty much with SCE has been going for a long, long time, and SCEJ. Those have got very Japanese, European sensibilities, obviously. So a game like Eco can just be like,
that's true. Yeah,
and a game like Heavy Rain, which is very, very European in a lot of ways, you can go, okay, well, we'll get it. Whereas Microsoft, maybe this is complete bollocks.
You've got a point.
Is so American focused because that's where it's really winning or was.
That's where it's based. That's where it's executed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe they're not up for this whole child kidnapping storyline.
I think GTA 3 is a bigger mistake than Heavy Rain, because I think
of course it is. Yeah.
What I mean is that I think Heavy Rain was a good game, but I loved it, but I know Dave didn't like it, and a lot of people didn't like it. It's very divisive, and I think it's held alright. I mean, we did well, but it's not like GTA.
When I say it was
behemoth.
Influential, I mean more the fact that it's one of the first really
that people talk about
adult storylines in.
Oh, I love it. I think
generation.
I think it's brilliant. I absolutely adored Heavy Rain, and I still do. But I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think Microsoft are kicking themselves now?
No, not for Heavy Rain, not for GTA. But it doesn't matter now, because GTA is multi-platform, so who cares?
Yeah.
So either way, I mean, I think it's interesting that they would turn it down. But I mean, with all due respect to David Cage, I imagine if you have an interview with him, he could rub you the wrong way. He's a bit crazy from time to time, so maybe that put him off as well.
You have to remember his reputation as well. Before Heavy Rain,
he made Fahrenheit. Don't forget,
which
did have necrophilia until the necrophilia.
Yeah. Don't
necrophilia?
worry.
You have sex with a dead person in it.
When?
At the end.
Yeah.
I don't remember any necrophilia.
That was the right thing to do. It's the 50% of it. What's the name of the game? Fahrenheit. Literally
You just said it 3 times.
That's Indigo Prophecy. What a terrible name. First half of that game, amazing. Last half, weird. Doesn't make any sense. And necrophilia. I mean, ugh.
Ah, right. Okay. Well, I haven't played that, so maybe that had an impact on the discussions. If
I played Fahrenheit, and then I'm thinking my thoughts through. No, if I played Fahrenheit and the creators came to me and didn't show me anything and just gave me the story, I may be a bit like, well, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. I hadn't been considering that, but yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Heavy Rain turned down by Microsoft.
Maybe that means Beyond would have been on Xbox One or something.
I don't think that Microsoft have genuinely lost out there, though. I think.
Do you think they would change their approach to games like that since we just after watching?
Maybe.
Definitely not.
You think they'd still turn down?
Shooters.
It depends on who's in charge, really. But I mean, it's difficult to know which games. Like if you're a producer or an executive, it's there's very few games that are going to be kind of surefire hits that are new IP. So say when with GTA 3, if you saw a demo of it. And you're like, okay, it looks cool, but it's by the guys that made, GTA kind of GTA 2.
Wasn't it really rough as well, quite early on?
And early on, apparently
it came together quite late, didn't it?
One of the houses, yeah, it did. One of the houses was saying that he had, the moment that he knew it was going to be a gigantic hit was when he saw wireframe carjacking. But I think there's also that problem that when you're the creator, so just from a wireframe card, you can see how the rest of it builds out, which is why in a lot of previews, when you speak to people, they seem more excited because they see the rest of the project, whatever, right? And I just think if you were to show that, they'd be like, okay, it's a wireframe man stealing a car.
But
I don't know what they showed.
Wasn't there hardly any hype behind GTA 3 before it came out?
I remember I saw one magazine
there was a little
cover.
bit of hype.
But like from the
just
press didn't
right
get it,
at
did
the
they?
end.
It was very much word of mouth about 2 or 3 months after
The press did not get it at all. It's like God of War, same with that.
Yeah.
No one understood that. Then it came and went, flipping heck, it's amazing.
PSM2 magazine apologised, and this is one of my favourite apologies in any games magazine, because you know who Jeremy Spake is from that airport show? There used to be like a fly on the wall airport documentary, and there used to be a guy on it called Jeremy Spake he was the star. Now, very much of its time. So PSM2 would make jokes about, Jeremy Spake every issue. And then God of War came out just out of nowhere, and they reviewed it and went, actually, this is brilliant. And the next month they had an apology in the front of the magazine that said, we're really sorry that we didn't tell you about God of War earlier. We've actually talked more about Jeremy Spake.
Do you remember when
one apology to make?
And I was just like, bravo.
Edge gave GTA 3 a 6, and the next month they were like, that was a typo, should have been an 8. I was like,
yeah.
Well, they're right. There's no way a 6 out of 10 game, especially at the time. It was. I remember playing that game, it blowing my brain.
Changed everything.
Yeah. Talk about GTA. Scamble. Pow.
yeah, there's a bit of controversy at the moment because
What? Controversy?
with GTA 5.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. With
I was
the-
about to. I thought. Okay, go.
Are we talking about different things?
Maybe, let's
Possibly
find
we
out.
are. The revelation that some of the gang members in
Oh,
GTA
no, that's what I was
5
talking about. Why is that controversial?
are voiced by real gang. Why is it
So?
controversial?
Why do
They serve their time. Clean slate now. That's how the system works.
Yeah, but not necessarily. There's
I
not.
thought they were all out of jail now. I thought they were all
They're
served
not
their time.
necessarily ex-gang members. They are.
But they've served their time.
Well, one of them has at least.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but the wider implications of this, and this is
And
all
they'll be-
speculation. This
they're
is all
being-
rumor. We don't know whether this is true or not. We don't even know if Rockstar has paid them to do this. That could
There's
Rockstar
a moral
have
question
paid-
there because they're being kind of rewarded for their past activities.
Yeah.
I think.
they're being treated.
Where
like
did the story
stars.
come from?
This came from an interview with Laszlo. You know Laszlo, the guy.
Yeah,
who does
love
the-
him.
Yeah, he was on a radio station.
if-
He's doing a tour in the US at the moment of the game. And he was on a radio
did that
station. He
last
said
time.
it.
I think if they've served their time, that's what jail's there for.
Yeah, but the fact
he's
that-
clean with the house, as they say in Shawshank Redemption.
Shall I find the quote?
But we don't know have they been paid?
Square with the house.
We don't know that. We
It's-
don't
it's
know.
also-
We don't know whether they're paid or
So,
not.
for
And to be
example,
fair, they aren't the first people to do that. Crime
But if
dramas
you-
have.
and
Yeah.
there are worse
But if you-
examples of that. Like if you make a movie, say, is it Richard Kalinsky? The Iceman killer. He's got a movie. I think he's dead, but he's got a movie now where at some point in that movie they may maybe not glamorize, but they'll make him look powerful and blah blah.
Of course they will.
So
Yeah.
it's just like
Didn't they do it in The Wire? Didn't they have...
Yeah, and The Wire had it as well.
I genuinely
Bollocks.
believe if they are, I mean, we don't know, but I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, if they are gang members who have been to jail and then are out of jail and haven't committed any crime since coming out of jail, then they're square. That's the whole point of jail. You serve your time and you come out and you're clean. That's what it is. That's what it's there for.
I don't think this is ex-gang members. I don't think this is like...
Well, because it's a
ex-con-
little
Also,
bit strange. Why not just get voice actors instead?
How do we know it's
Why-
not? How do we know it's not gang members that deal with selling cake to old people?
But they would be
look at the assumptions we're making. It has to be killing. No, they could be selling cake to old people. It could be called gangs for ladies.
Well, no,
So
it's,
here we go.
they've still
Well,
been
look.
picked because of their past activities, though. Like, why do that in the first place? It's just needless
Why? Because it
controversy.
gets people talking.
Yeah, I guess so.
Laszlo believes the answer is to, quote, find the real terrifying people and say, can you come in here, please? So it is...
That's very Partridge.
Something terrifying about selling cakes to old people.
And they look at the lines and they say,
Simon,
I wouldn't say that. If I was upset at another gang, I wouldn't say that. So
if I was upset,
what would you
another guy.
say? Authenticity, you know?
But that happens
If
all
they're
the
that-
time.
But
That
if
happens
they're
all
that
the
bad,
time.
why aren't they in jail?
Also, just quietly, well, I don't want to say anything that's going to get me into too much trouble here, but I'm sure that many people still go to see the films of a certain filmmaker who
I
has
was
been
just thinking
on
that,
the
yeah.
run,
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
essentially,
Yeah, they're hiding out in a house.
for about 30 years.
That's
Yeah, I
the thing,
thought
though.
so.
There is this divide. It's not everyone going, this is awful, it's terrible, but it has created a bit of a
Okay, fair enough.
bit of a stir.
Also-
Debate's always good.
I said Star Council. It's actually Star Chamber. There you go.
Oh man, Star
Sorry.
Council's way better.
It is, isn't it? That's
God
why I keep
damn
thinking
it.
Star Council sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Star
it's not
Council
called
does
that.
sound like an intergalactic
Sounds like
version.
something in Mass Effect.
It does. Mass Effect shit. Carry on.
I don't agree with that.
That's
But
ridiculous.
is that all the news? Are we news now?
Well, there's loads of news going on. I don't know if
the
One more
Mega
news.
Man Kickstarter or
Yeah, Chris wants to talk about this stupid fucking Kickstarter.
I don't like it. I think Inafune needs to come up with some new ideas and not just make a new
Again,
Mega Man.
I've said this so many times
I've said
before.
this. That's it
It's
now.
called
I'm
Mighty
dead.
Number
I'm
9.
dead in the comments. I'm going to be murdered now for saying that.
I hate more than anything, even fucking free-to-play games. I hate big name devs going to Kickstarter and saying, "Hey, fund my next game, right? It's not out until 2 more years, but come on, give me a bit of money for it." I hate
Why?
it. Because you know how this works. You've been doing this for however many years. You've got the contacts. You're at the top of the chain. You know exactly how it works. And you obviously can't get the funding for this through a publisher, i.e. there is risk involved for whatever reason.
and the fans know that though. That's their risk. They want a new Mega Man game.
Right,
So they
okay.
go
And when
forward.
that-
and when that
It
game
is Mega Man.
and when
It's Mighty Number 9, but it's Mega
Mighty
Man.
Number 9.
You say there's risk
Different.
involved, yeah, but when that game comes out and potentially it is rubbish or it doesn't hit that date, they'll go, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, and I'd rather have that option than not have it at
Dave.
all.
Your
No,
voice
because
a gang
I'd
member.
rather spend my money on a game that I know is worth the money when it's out than funding the
Well, then
development of
don't
the game.
fund the Kickstarter project. You don't speak for the rest of the Mega Man.
I know I
fans.
don't, but I find it mad that there are so many people that just pile money into something that's so unknown and so unproven so far. Because there is not one game that's come out of there, with the exception of perhaps I keep thinking of FML, FTL.
Shadowrun Returns was good.
Yeah, but not as good as it should have been.
It was a great game for
And
the
not-
fans of that series,
And not a game that deserved the amount of money that it achieved on
I
Kickstarter.
tell you, we need a.
You don't get
this
to-
is so fun to watch these. They're glaring at each other's eyys, ready to attack. It's brilliant.
But you don't get to decide that.
I know
the
I
market
don't. I'm not saying I
decides
do.
the
I'm
value.
just saying this is my opinion. I believe that
With
people like Peter Molyneux and David Braben, is it David Braben?
Yeah.
Going on a
Deep
Kickstarter.
I just
it.
hate the fact that Inafune is making another Mega Man game.
when he came out and said, "Wah,"
And he came and said, he said to me in an interview at E3, we need to be more creative. The video games industry is not creative enough. We need to think of ways to be more creative. And his next project is Mega Man, but I've called it 9 Man. It's like, no, Inafune. Like, don't get me wrong. If you like Mega Man, brilliant. I mean, I like Mega Man. I think Mega Man is great. On the SNES, fucking loved it, mate. But I just don't think it's a good use of his time.
$1.5 million disagrees with that. Apparently.
Yeah, but I've
what they're
got
up to
$2
right now.
million, and I'm putting that into my
Yeah, but
new
you
game. Chris Pratt is
Wrong about
wrong
Kickstarter.
about life.
Those 1.5
Don't know
million. I mean,
crap.
You don't know.
What,
Pratt.
sorry?
a good percentage of that is not going to be happy with the game. That's just
Yeah,
life.
but also I'm not
But-
mad that he's making this game. I'm mad that he's not being more creative. That's what pisses me off.
Yeah, it feels like he's phoning it in. Well, we haven't.
I'm not finding it
seen
in. I'm sure it'd be really good, but I played his Mega Man games. I've done that.
I don't like the fact that
They haven't had a
the
decent
public-
Mega Man game that wasn't on a handheld in a while, though, have they? I mean,
True.
he's obviously probably tried going through all the past before Kickstarter, and unsuccessful.
This whole model of the public becoming the publisher, I don't.
They're not
like
the publisher,
it.
though. You're not the publisher.
You are because you're funding the game.
You're backing an idea, yeah, but you don't get.
You also
you're not,
pay
you're
for
not
the game as
expecting
well.
to get any money back, or you're not expecting it to be financially successful.
Yeah.
So
You're
you're
not even
paying
expecting
for
it
a
to be.
product.
So you're in an even worse position than a publisher would be.
Of course you are, and that's
So why are people so willingly
because
going into
without
this?
it, that game would never exist. Shadowrun Returns would never have happened without Kickstarter.
And also, they're not-
it has happened, and most
And we
people
are
seem to be
talking
very happy
like
about it.
10 quid and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to spend more. You're going to spend more, Dave, on a Subway in about 25 minutes than most people would have on a Kickstarter.
He does spend a lot of money on
honestly.
It's like a threat, that is.
I just hate the model. I hate that has become the answer, is that you go... Because clearly they are pitching the game to other people, and there have been instances where it's been on Kickstarter, and a publisher has then picked it up, which I find madness. That you go through those hoops, and you go through that... You can take that course, but then it's like... No one else is going to pay for it, so let's get fucking Joe Blogs to fund it. And
No,
it's
let's get the
like-
fans of the series to pay for it. You have to have done something in the first
But
place.
you still are paying for the game, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing for me, is that you are paying for a product at the end of it.
But
You just
yeah,
pay
and
it now.
that-
You're not. You're
No.
paying for the idea.
Well, no, because you'll get something at the end of it.
You're paying for a promise.
Yeah,
But they
And
have to
that promise-
deliver. They can't just say, well,
No,
we
of
just
course they
change-
don't.
Of course they do.
I don't think
By
there's
Kickstarter's rules, they do not need to deliver the product.
Yes, they do.
They don't.
That's
They don't.
Kickstarter's fundamental rule.
I
No,
don't
it's
believe
not.
that's
It's that they
true.
need to prove that the money that has been spent has gone towards trying to get that
Yeah,
product
well,
released.
if the company goes bankrupt, which happened with a board game recently, but it's a very limited example.
So, but you could put that. I don't know.
It's
what
a risk, of course
but
it's a
I don't know
risk.
what the limit is on that. But $100. I know they've gone up to.
Oh come on, no! I think it's a little more kind of thought through than that. I don't think it's we tried to make this game, but then we spent all the money on booze. So
No, I know that.
Tim Schafer
I know
would do
that.
that.
I know, but
That's a joke. It's a joke. It's said in jest. Had a little laugh at the end of it. It was caveated.
don't worry about it. Schaefer, forget it.
I love Schafer. He's one of my favourite developers. It was a joke. I'm sure if he listens to this podcast, he'll go, ho, ho, ho.
I'm getting wound up.
Although, apparently all the bleep in money on Broken Age went on Jack Black voicing it, didn't it?
Broken Age.
That's what's called.
Oh,
isn't it?
what?
Broken
I did
Age?
it. This is what I mean.
they
This is
released-
bollocks. This
Shouldn't
is
have said
absolute-
that.
and that wasn't in the original thing. They didn't say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I've spent fucking millions of your dollars getting Jack Black in."
Well,
They
no,
didn't
wait,
say
wait,
that.
wait. I made that up. He may be doing it for free. They're mates. I don't know. IB is in it. So's the one that does Femship.
would you be happier if
I think we should move on with arguing
Okay,
about
fair
Kickstarter
enough.
now. I mean, say your point, but I think then we should use that as the.
No,
the
I
getting off
definitely
point.
agree that it would be in a dream world. There would be more of a kind of a plan to the Kickstarter projects would show where that money's going from the get go. But it's an impossibility. It's very
It's not an
difficult.
impossibility.
Okay,
In the
so-
publishing world, you have breakdown of where the funds are going.
We've argued.
But yeah.
I need to say something. I actually quite like the fact that Jack Black's in Broken Age. I made it like I was annoyed by it. I thought it was brilliant. And let's move on
He's
to some
good at Shallow
questions.
Hell.
Okay, cool. Should we? Yep.
Shallow Hal, the worst film ever made.
He was also good in that X-Files episode where
That's
his
funny.
mate can control electronics.
And when he's
electricity.
in
Brutal Legend, who's good at Brutal Legend?
Enemy of the State, he's in that as a straight man.
Oh, yeah, he is, yeah.
And,
Unbelievable.
in the remake of the Jackal. He was
Yeah,
with
he's there to
Richard-
Jackal,
Richard
being a
Gere.
straight man.
He's not
Getting
good
an
at
arm
School
shot.
of Rock. I'll tell
I
you
love
that.
School of Rock.
No,
He's
when
awesome
was the
in
last
it.
time you watched it? I love School of Rock, and then I tried to make my
watched it
parents
about a
watch
month
it.
ago.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Don't get your parents to watch
No,
it,
because I was
man.
like, oh no, I remember this film being really funny when I was a kid,
It is.
and I was like, Mom and Dad, come, let's
When
sit
he
down
was a
and watch
kid.
this.
I watched when I was like 22. When he was a kid, he was watching it. I like that film. Anyway, let's do some questions. We've rowed and been serious for long
I'm
enough.
sorry to shout at you, Chris.
No, it's
I love
good. It's
you,
good
Dave.
debate. As long as we both appreciate and respect it, it's all good. They're
Right,
shaking hands.
move it
Kissing
on.
and making up.
What's
No, it was
next?
good. You both had very valid points. Oh, now this is worse than you arguing. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, moving on to some questions from the community. From the forums, we've got a question from Slenderman Co. who says, Matthew Nallis, Gamescom, what happened?
What?
Oh.
Say again?
Matthew Nallis, Gamescom, what happened? Unfortunately, we
didn't meet up with him, you
yeah, I
mean?
went to him
Oh,
on
right,
the
okay.
podcast, but
I don't know.
he worked some crazy hours by the sounds of it.
And League of Legends there was
yeah,
insane. So
I think he was pulling
yeah.
night shifts most night throughout that, so we couldn't do
Very
it.
sad.
But
Nellis.
yeah.
Where are you, Nellis?
I want to meet Nellis. Moving on to a question from Garviel. He says, Pants, now that I have your attention, what do you think of the very positive coverage that The Elder Scrolls Online has been getting on unnamed major game sites, like being chosen the best RPG at E3? I think
Well,
he means
I'd love to
Gamescom,
know how
but I don't
people
think
reach
it's
those
specific.
decisions.
This is all I'm going to say. I think we should say this and we should move on. Steve played it. It was quite boring. But that's you can kind of put asterisks next to that because that's not really Steve's thing. He doesn't really have fantasy games.
I played a lot
Whoa,
of-
don't listen my opinion.
I thought you didn't though. I got more to it. Than
Oh, no,
that.
I don't,
No, my point
but-
is, but that's kind of a general rule. I love fantasy games, and I thought it was boring.
I love
Chris
fantasy games
Pratt,
and played
You are
tons of
doing
World
a
of
big
Warcraft.
thing on it on Friday, and I think that you're going to come out. We're going to tease it, but you may think you may find it boring as well. So that's all
yeah.
we're going to say. So yeah,
Combat, the actual MMO stuff is so boring.
Friday, VideoGamer.com.
Okay. Got a question from Saturated Eel, which I got his name right this time. We did a little video showing some of the,
Thank
the
you,
pictures
Saturated.
from the podcast competition
a big
and
deal.
Thank you very much.
messed that name up slightly.
It's a big eel.
I went with Saturate Deal, actually. That was how I said it.
Saturate deal.
Yeah.
What's his question?
He says,
Why did you get my name
do
wrong?
you have any interesting ways of changing up the way that you play a game? An example, there's
Sometimes
a
I do it like upside down.
YouTuber that's played Mirror's Edge recently with a blindfold on.
Pathetic.
Which sounds which sounds like a really. I haven't seen
But
the
how
video.
is that?
I don't think that makes it
anything?
fun. I don't know
But
if that
how
makes
does
it
he know
fun.
what he's doing?
Sometimes I lay on my arm until it goes numb, and
Some-
so it feels like someone else is playing it.
Sometimes I just buy a load of crack and acid and take it and see how the game plays. What? I don't understand. What?
I guess like
Some people get really stoned, don't they? Now I don't, and I'm not saying that I'm for that. But at the same time, I know some people who are like, yeah, I got really stoned. It became the best game ever.
Yeah, I spoke to an industry professional that told me about their love for marijuana while playing GTA 3.
Yeah, but that's like
Actually, that would be amazing.
What's that?
I guess
in the Guitar Hero episode of South Park, what's the game they get with the dragon? It's like called Heroin Addict or something, and you go around injecting heroin in your arm, chasing a dragon. I can't remember.
I don't know.
That kind of sums it up.
I don't think that question meant what chemicals you take when
But
you're
that
playing
that
games.
is switching it up, isn't it?
Okay.
But how else can you
Sometimes
switch?
I turn my
Okay,
TV
for me
sideways.
personally, I mean, for YouTube it makes sense because it's fun to watch. But why would I play in a blindfold? I get no entertainment out of that. I do it upside down.
There are some like.
Are we talking about certain challenges?
Yeah,
to
challenges
make the
that
game...
you give yourself. So, like, you could play an RPG and
I hate
you
being
give yourself
challenged.
one life.
I
If your
invented
character
the best
dies, you
one.
have to start again, kind of thing.
I
would
invented
do
the
it.
best game ever. And
Okay,
it's
that's
in-
what I
all
wanna
right, here we
hear.
go. I'll put it out there. I'm pretty sure I've talked about
So
it
you
before.
take a bunch of drugs and
Firstly,
Have
right.
sex with a prostitute and play a game.
So I invented this at uni. I think I've told you about it before. It's called Hitman Olympics.
I'm not sure you have.
All right.
This is
so
gonna be insane.
In Hitman 2, all right, the first stage proper, the one we have to infiltrate the Don's match, like the Godfather.
Yeah, and you got the postman outside.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So
Just climb in his bag.
that's not the game. So you turn on slow motion, you turn on God mode, and you turn on punch mode, which is really cool.
Oh man, this
So
sounds-
and then you
I'm
so
getting
you
really
can just
desperate.
in his bag, mate. That's an option. Sorry.
you can just that does sound as good. I will speak to Io. So then you go up into where the Don is hiding in his study, and outside there's a balcony, and then look at this. Look at this. It's so unprofessional.
We're trying to podcast over here.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
These jokers. Look at them. Dave's a mess.
Dave, all right.
Dave's on the floor.
It's making me laugh.
Sorry, just keep talking.
Ignore us.
Simon's turned a bright red.
The thought of that. I've done 99% of Hitman 2, but what's this last choice I haven't done? Oh, I can climb in the postman's bag, and he doesn't notice. But keep
Press
telling
E to
you.
climb.
Yeah.
Climb in bag.
Press E.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
God
there's
mode, slow
there's
motion.
God
and
mode, slow mode,
punch.
punch mode. You go up into the study, then you go out into a little balcony. And of course, all the guards are alerted, and there's a swimming pool behind the balcony.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this.
And when they run in, you get 3 attempts, but obviously it's a multiplayer game, to punch them into the pool. And because of the ragdoll physics, they obviously do a lot of tucks and dives and everything.
you have to give them a score.
Yeah, and you have to give them a score. And I'm telling you now, that is
No one's going to top that.
No, like,
that
like
is
it.
the best. It's so much better than actually. That's better than Hitman Absolution. You can fucking quote me on that.
Fair-
Put that on the
fair
box.
Okay.
Hitman Olympics. Try
Yeah.
it.
Better than
I don't-
Absolution. I remember
Pass the pad I
we like
sometimes
the,
do.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Party
I guess-
Pez. I invented
Yeah.
that one as well. Party Pez.
Is that played?
Oh man, I've
Get
got so
drunk.
many of these games. So with Party Pairs, this happened because I broke. We had 2 controllers, and I got mad that I lost. I smashed one to pieces.
Oh,
So-
you're not one of those.
Yeah, well, it was my pad, so whatever. Anyway, it's this,
Terrible human
this
being.
snowballed into Party Pairs. It's a drinking game where 2 players on each side. One player has the pad,
Okay.
and every time the ball goes out of play, you have to switch the pad with someone else. But you also have to drink.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
I've got a feeling that the drinking is the main part of Party Pez.
Yeah, but it makes the game so unbelievably tense because if you foul someone, so anytime you're not in control, so if you kick the ball off, if you foul someone, if you're sent off, it's great. If you concede a penalty and are sent off, you just might as well die.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it makes games really because you have to do so many shots.
All right.
But yeah, it makes the game unbelievably
Shots.
tense.
Sounds like Magaluf Bratters.
Yeah, exactly. Take it.
What's the next question?
I want to tell you some word, Dave.
Okay, go on then.
Okay. So,
That wasn't English, by the way, you just said.
Yeah.
You just said, hard head.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Wow, that
You
sounds
got-
like
you got the
Star
point
Wars
that I
Episode
made.
1.
That's for me. Yeah.
I remember in the Halo games, I always used to like going into Forge mode with a few friends and do some kind of like base building stuff. So you'd make like a little base for you to defend, and then you'd spend like an hour doing that. And then you'd be right, let's actually play now. Everyone start on the base and we'll kill each other. You play for 5 minutes and then you realise this was really boring. The base building was way more fun. And then you stop.
You just described Minecraft.
Pretty good.
Oh, shit.
Competitive Minecraft. I like it. Well, yeah, okay. I feel you've lessened mine now. You were trying to move me on.
I'm
too
sorry.
quickly,
I'm
Simon.
sorry. I didn't. I
And
thought
I've
we were all
rushed it.
done. I was just
I've
trying to
rushed it.
take control. I apologise. I'm sorry. Just because you're going to Magaluf, jeez.
I'm not going to Magaloo. Okay, moving on to Twitter. We've got a question from Dazza Davey who asks, would you ever consider doing a VG versus forum game night again? Maybe on GTA Online. And I heard you
course.
guys were
We will
talking about
wreck
that.
you.
Yes.
I want to do loads more of those. I used to love that
Maybe on their
stuff.
side. Yeah, well, actually, there's going to be some, like, you were talking just before the podcast began, actually, about setting up some kind of crew.
We need to do a video gamer crew.
Video game
We need
crew.
to get people involved in the VG crew.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll get all that sorted and we'll put some forum
We'll get
videos up.
stoned before we do it. as
I don't
well.
know when we'll
just
do it.
Loads of drugs. I can't wait.
Maybe next week, just before the launch, we'll get a crew together.
Crew details.
Yeah. Who's going to be the leader though?
No,
I was about to put my hand up and I saw Simon's face just turned to pure anger. And I pointed at you because that's what I always
Bratters
intended
should
to
be
do.
the leader, and then we'll
I just
overthrow
Brian
him.
is the leader of us all. Let's never forget that.
Brad has to be a terrible gang leader.
He would be, wouldn't
I
he?
wouldn't be a terrible gang
Too
leader.
busy playing
I could
Star
be
Drive.
ruthless. I could be ruthless.
Really?
No, probably not.
No.
Moving on to...
Any man that says I can be ruthless is
Well,
not
what games do they want to play? Let's put that out there.
Twitter, VideoGamerTom, hashtag Metal Gear Solid 2. Let us know what games you want to play.
Moving on to a question from Dobroslow. I want to buy my 5-year-old nephew a handheld console. He's never had any consoles before. What a great uncle or aunt, by the way.
Virtual Boy.
Would you recommend a 3DS or Vita and
3DS.
any games?
3DS.
3DS.
For a 5-year-old.
Mario Dream Team.
For a 5-year-old Dream Team.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's funny. It's really funny.
Really?
Love Metal Gear.
Well, yeah, but would a 5-year-old get the jokes?
Yes, they're all about kids.
That sounded a lot like that.
Dear.
What? You can't spin that.
Okay,
yeah, 3DS. It's got a load of great games on
It's
it.
definitely the more kid-friendly console.
Yeah, get
right?
Mario 2D. You'll
Is
love
there
it.
anything? What would you play on the PlayStation Vita as a 5-year-old?
Tearaway.
Tearaway? Is that out yet?
It's not. It's just not fun, is it?
Put your fingers in it.
It's not out yet, though, is it?
No.
No. But
3DS. Definitely 3DS.
So okay, cool. 3DS and Mario games. So that
Yes.
was pretty much.
Nintendo fanboy answer.
You're not a Nintendo fanboy, Simon. What are you talking about? Definitely Nintendo fanboy. I think that might be all the questions I picked up as well. So let's move on to the Member of the Month competition.
I won.
We've got a winner.
I won this year.
You're going to use the same joke again, aren't you?
No.
It's worth it.
You know that I won.
I appreciate it. Simon thinks he won because he had the best mask, which is his face.
It's a fair argument, I think.
Yeah.
The best
I'm
Simon
happy with
mask
it.
is Simon's
It's
face.
the most convincing.
Yep, see?
Who did win for reals?
You picked.
I know. But
I've got the name.
I was trying to build.
Da, 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 da.
Okay, well, this, as picked by Simon, the mask-wearing editor-in-chief, I think you went with Mipley, who entered... So, if you haven't seen the forum thread already, we asked people to design a mask for when Simon wants to rob a bank. It's kind of a link to Payday 2, which we were playing at
I
the
also
time.
have to point
But
out
really,
I had
Simon just
nothing to
wants
do with
rob a
it.
bank.
I didn't like have an ego trip where I went, please make masks for me.
Yeah, whatever, mate.
Well, I just like, because you tend to get a little uncomfortable when people do big drawings like of you or certain members of the team.
I like it when people draw us, but it's when, for example, and I say this in a positive way, people put blonde hair on me with boobs when I get a little bit
appreciate
freaked
that.
out.
That comes in with a note.
But I
saying,
always appreciate a drawing of me.
Okay, cool.
Or any of us.
Yeah, I think that was, we appreciate it, and that we did a fun gallery with it, and I made you uncomfortable with.
I very much like Mipley's as well. I was very
Mipley
impressed.
entered 3 different entries. He or she is a very, very competent drawer. I think the one that swung it for you was the first one he submitted, which
thought it was
had
a
you as
very
like a
good
Mario
drawing.
face.
It wasn't even that. I just
And-
thought it was a really good drawing. I was very impressed with it. Well done,
There you
Mipley.
are. A few honourable mentions. We've got Weasel Pants, who did a very cool Dark Knight themed picture. Verbose Slayer, who did some awesome ninja masks. Ninja masks
That
are
was good,
always
actually.
going to get
That was
on the list,
amazing
aren't they?
as well.
And Duckman0121, who has animated this podcast before.
Duckman.
The guy's the man.
Did a video of him making masks. We
Yeah.
love you, Duckman.
I've obviously put a hell of a lot of effort into that. We certainly appreciated it.
So what does Mipley win? Is it Mipley?
Mipley wins a free video game of his or her choice, and I'll be in
Up to
contact.
£50.
The value of £50.
So what are you going to ask for, surely? As long as you're over the age of
GTA,
18.
GTA.
You got to be over 18 to ask GTA.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
And we've got a couple of other winners, actually, because there's 3 ways to win each month. You can enter competition, which is the most fun way. You can be the member of the month on the forums, which just means be a nice person. Or you can be the voter of the month. So
Random
if you vote
draw.
for one of those members,
A raffle.
yeah, you get entered.
It'd be lovely to have some more nice people on the forum. It's just my feeling.
You think? Don't you? There's plenty of nice people on the
Yeah, but
forums.
to have more nice
There
people.
are plenty, but it'd be lovely to have more nice people.
Well, maybe if we tempt them with
If
video
you're a nice
games,
person,
Come join the forums. Send us a nice review on iTunes. Do all of that
and
stuff.
we'll pay you with video games. Consider it a bribe.
Yeah.
The member of the month this month
Bit
was
much, but all right.
Fantasy Meister, who is a long-term video gamer contributor, and basically, there were a few reasons people gave as they voted for him. But it's pretty much consistently
Helpful
good
and nice
posts,
and pleasant.
helpful. And to be honest, if I was going to vote for him, which unfortunately I can't, I'd vote for him specifically because he's put about 5 million hours into the game Defiance, and that has to be commended.
That mother does like Defiance.
That mother
DLC
does
out
like
soon.
Defiance.
He'll love it. Might already be out. Don't even know.
And the voter of the month, we've mentioned him already, it's Saturated Eel. So sorry for butchering your name the other day. And there we are.
When's the next competition announced? Next week?
Next week. So, yeah. tune in then if you want to get involved. And
Are there any hints as to what it might be?
I'm not sure. I'm not here next week, so I'm going to have to leave this.
It's going to be draw a picture of Chris on holiday and the location of where he's supposed to be.
Yes.
Some people say, "Oh, I can't believe you only do drawing competitions." Well, we like drawing competitions.
Oh man, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up this week's episode.
It does.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you very much, guys.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let's see you later.
Lovely.
Thanks for taking the time out of your day to come and talk to us.
Hey, it's all right, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I've got videos to do. You know what it's like.
Got hair to preen.
Yeah, Twilight.
Sure.
We dance in the Twilight next week.
Thank you for joining us, Dave.
That's really good.
Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Good night. Hallelujah.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
And thank you, Mr. Samuel.
Thank you for listening to the Video Game Podcast here on Magic 105.4.
There we are. Goodbye.